Hey, what's up, guys? Alright, I think you're not seeing the right screen right now. So let's change this up. Alright, now it should be good. Alright, so first time streaming my VR game programming. Well, we'll see. So I'm not in yet, but I'm starting a video game programming course in in 19 days. So, and it will long for 2 years. So I'll be able to see where I started and where I'll be at in 2 years. So I think it's gonna be funny to see the evolution of how I make games. So what I'm trying to do here is um, a VR game. So there's not precise goal for this game. This is just a sandbox, as I named it here. I'm just trying to learn how to code VR and how to use Unity to start with. So so we'll see. I can show you what I did for now. There's bowling balls. There's also some keels and a reset button for the keels. So once they're all down, I can just press the button and they'll all reappear. Um, I have hands, so we can see hands in the game, and I can grab things. I can walk, and that's pretty much it. I'm following tutorials for this, so I'm not really good for the moment, but it's okay. Uh, Now I'll try to implement the ends auto positioning, and once it'll be done, I'll simply create a Unity template project for this, so I'll be able to recreate as much basic VR things as I want. Skip. Alright, so the headset is plugged. Let's show you what I got for the moment. Um, alright, let's hit play. And I will show you. So I gotta hold my headset. So I can grab these and make the keels fall. And I can also push the button and they'll reappear. That's pretty much it for right now. Bruh. Physics gotta be remade because I simply added some box colliders on those hands and this is really not the best thing to do. So with the hands auto positioning, I hope I'll be able to recreate a better box, a better collider for my hands, because now they're really just boxes and not like finger and bones. All right, let's let's start. So first thing, I'm gonna create prefab object reset. Now I create something to reset my bowling balls, because once they all fell and they fell, so I cannot use them again. All right. So this is a prefab that I made. Um, so I can just call it bowling ball reset stand. I'm gonna put it there so it's not that far from the keel reset. Mm, let's go on push. Alright, so the object to reset is the bowling balls and what I want to instantiate. So I'll create a prefab with this named bowling balls and I'll simply instantiate that. Alright, Alright, so hopefully now I can reset my bowling balls. We'll try right now. Alright, so if I throw this ball over the edge, I'm gonna look over there and press the button. Alright, and my button isn't fixed there. I can just push it off the stand. That's horrible. Alright. So alright, the button didn't release. Which is not good. Alright. Delete. Yes, delete. Oh, so I was using it. Kill, reset stand, prefab assets. Alright. Yep, we'll delete this. Control D. So this is the one. And we'll call this one object reset stand. We'll put it there. Push. On push, we'll put the bowling balls here as prefab bowling balls. We'll save this original and we'll name it bowling ball. Reset this one up, push, and we're gonna set this one to known. Alright, now everything should be fine, I hope. And here we go. So I'll try to use it for real with my two hands. Alright. Bruh. Bruh. No. Alright, so they are broken. Yep. And they press by themselves, I think. Because everything should be there. Alright. Yep. Alright, so I broke something. Yep. They both got pressed. Alright, so there's something that I'm obviously doing wrong. But what I don't get is why this one isn't working. Because it was working. Oh. No, this is the rotation. Alright. I don't know. I'll just remove them for the moment. Anyway, this isn't what I want to do for now. So let's put the headset back. And I'll try to add automatic and automatic and positioning. Alright, is it somewhere? We need the automatic and positioning.
Having a realistic interaction in your scene is without a doubt one of the most realistic environment developed to channels where you let U20.use have with if you corner of the as bridges. So once again, I highly suggest in the table to which we can drag it in our Unity project and click on import.
And the physics. Is this the one that I already have? Nah, this is ends. Alright.
Now that's imported.
So with this one, all the bones will already be done. This is gonna save me a lot of time.
We can go to Oculus Hand Physics, Prefab, and there you will find two prefab. The left hand presence and the right hand presence. We can drag the left hand presence under the left hand controller game object in the XR rig and do the same for the right hand presence under the right hand controller.
Normally I already have those. Yep, these are my prefabs. There. We'll see what he is doing.
Now, as you can see, the hands are now in our scene. By the way, if you are not using the universal rendering pipeline, these hands will appear pink. So to fix this, you can simply go to the mesh renderer of the hands and change, but the player as they are children, we will be also able to animate these hands accordingly. Okay, and here is the result. As you can see, my hands are looking good and are moving according to the input I give on my controller. But for now, with this setup, if I try to interact with the fix this. Okay, to work on the physical hands, I will duplicate these two hands, rename them left hand present physics for the left hand and right hand present physics for the right hand. We can unpack the prefab as we are going to modify them, and I will now just disable the two hold hand. Now for the solution of this problem, we need to add a collider to the hand model. To do so, we can go in the bones of the hand and try to add a capsule collider like this and scale it to the appropriate size of this finger. And I know this will take a lot of time to do in one video, so I've already prepared for you a model for each hand with all colliders already set up. And we can find them in the same package that we imported, so in the Oculus and Physics prefab. And here they are. We can replace now the custom left hand by the custom left hand with collider and do the same for the right hand. Okay, now that we have replaced the hand, don't forget to assign the animator of our new hand model to the hand present script on both the left hand and on the right hand.
Alright. So here is my script. Alright. So import and Oculus Hands Physic and Presents. So this is already what I have. Yep, it didn't change anything to this. So what I want is this. So left hand presents physics p physics. So this is what I already have. So I can delete these and model with collider. Alright, yes. So I will put this here. Yep. So custom right with collider.
Unpack the prefab as we are going to modify them, and I will add a cam and try to have this so or in the custom left aim on the bird over add a component. You will understand why in a minute. And if we click on play, as you can see, we can now interact physically with the cube. I can push it with both hands, but as you can see, the interaction is not always really precise. And to solve this, an easy solution to improve Unity physics is using the project setting. So if I go to
Assets, prefab, original, right, original. Alright, so we can delete these and simply change left and right. Alright, so I don't know why it broke my script, but it shouldn't. Line 78. We'll take a look. Oh, they are probably not taking their script at the same place than mine. Void update. Date animation. Yep. And with physics script. What if I delete? Probably not the best idea. Alright. No, I want my prefabs. So left hand with physics. Oh, this is mine. Alright, I don't understand why. So what I'm gonna do is keep this there. Yep, that was the problem. Alright, just delete this. So it was using it. I hope not. Alright, let's put the headset on. I hope it didn't broke all my fucking setup. Alright, so everything seems fine with the hand. Oh yeah. nice. Nice. So it seems fine. Let's make sure this is the right box collider, because it seemed a little bit cubish. Where am I? I am not in the game. Loading. Well, restart it. Alright. Yep. Alright, so what I want is the scene. Alright, yep. Oh, that's not what I wanted. So, yes. There is a box collider I don't want there. Ah, this is my old one. Alright, that's the reason why. This is the one I made trying to do some. Ah, crap. Alright. Maybe we'll just deactivate them, because I don't know, might be useful. I don't think so, but we never know. Alright, let's try again. Alright. Oh, ouch. Alright, headset on. Controller and controller. Alright. So, bruh, I'm so tall. What the fuck? Alright, I'm gonna go on the ground. Bruh, this is the ground. What the fuck? Did I change something? Oh, alright. Yeah, so there's a problem. As you can see, there's collision on my hand. So when I drop it, it collides with, so it creates troubles while throwing things. Yep. It created lots of trouble. Alright. So I'm not sure why I was so tall, but I might have an idea why. Because my XR origin isn't that. Nah, this is still at 0. And it is based on device, so I don't know. Alright, we'll try again. Maybe a glitch. Alright. Headset is on. Let's go. Oh, alright. Alright, that was just a glitch, I guess. Oh, nice. Doop, doop. Alright, so I'm too fast. This isn't good. And this is what is gonna help us with. Boop. Boop. Nice. But I still got the throwing problem. Alright. So, this is working. Got the right collision. So, alright, let's continue.
edit, project settings, physics. I will change the default solver.
So, sorry, I will take you this window, because now we're in the project settings, so I don't want to miss anything. Physics, so I already listened and watched this tutorial, so what I understood is he's gonna like um, increase the fresh rate on the collider for the ends.
Iteration to 25.
25, and the other one is 15. So the ends collider would be more precise.
Iteration to 15. We can also enable alternative force. Set the friction type to one directional and the solver type to temporal goes. And finally, we can go to the time settings and change the fixed time step to 0.01. Now, I won't go into details of how each or one of these settings influence the physics computation in Unity, as it goes outside of the scope of this tutorial, but if we click again on play to try our game, ta-da, the physical interaction feels more precise. Now, that's something obviously that does not translate really well on a video, but that we can really feel when playing the game. But now it's the important part of this tutorial, so bear with me. As you can see, we can now interact physically with the cube, but even if we maximize the physics settings, our hands can still pass through objects with collider that have no rigid body, like this table. And the reason is that our hands are using a kinematic rigid body, which means that they can interact with other rigid body, but they are not influenced by them, which will not create a great physical response. But it's not as simple as setting the rigid body back to non-kinematic, because if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play, our hands now does not follow correctly the position to go to the target position. And the reason is that our hands are using a kinematic sense by...
Or am I in kinematic? I'm not sure. Rigid body. Prefabs. Nope. They aren't. I don't think I need it.
Them, which will not create a great physical response. But it's not as simple as setting the rigid body back to non-kinematic, because if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play, our hands now does not follow correctly the position of the controller in our scene. So to fix this, I'm going to move them outside of the XR rig to not have them influenced by their parent, and I'm going to show you how we can create a script that will make these hands follow the position and rotation of any target using their rigid body, which will, we can click E. Now we can follow. Calling the move position of the rigid body won't work because game object form.position fixed. What we need to do is set the play to going on, and this is actually an issue caused by the collider. New layer, left and physics interaction between right hand seems to work. No more the good. So multiply the rotation difference and this we desire opportunity to test our game. And there you go. If I click on play, now you can see the final result. I can move my hand, it follows correctly the position and the rotation. I can push the cube like before, but if I go through the table, the hand cannot pass through. Good job. And there it is, guys. In a few minutes, we managed to create a simple but powerful, physically accurate and present script for our player. Awesome. Now, this is only the beginning. There are plenty of elements that we can add to improve the quality of the physical interaction. For example, we can show the non-physical head.
I could try to give them a rigid body. Alright. Let's see what it is doing. So if I fold correctly, my hands shouldn't be there, or they should be glitching away, which would be They wanted result, but I don't understand why he's doing this. Just remove the rigid body, and then it'll be okay, no? Or I didn't understand. Right? Yep. So my hands aren't there. All right. So now, if I give them the kinematic. So this is what I meant when I said I'm not that good. I know what a rigid body is, but I'm not sure I'm doing the difference between a rigid body and a box collider, because he is saying that the hands cannot interact with something with a box collider if it doesn't have a rigid body. So what is the use of the box collider if it isn't to collide? I don't know if you follow me, but so that made me lost the comprehension of the rigid body. Let's try again with the kinematic parameter. Alright, so I have them, and everything should everything seems fine. So these skills have a rigid body. Woo! Alright. Oh, the throwing seems better. Never mind. Alright. Let's try to add a table. Maybe it might help us understand. More desk than the table, but right. 3D object cube. Let's call it desk. Let's create a new material for it. Brown. Alright, dark brown. Yeah, it's okay. Desk. So let's put it at 0, 0, 0. Alright, so 0.5. Alright, 2. And let's put it over here. Right, so there is a box collider, and there's no rigid body. Alright, let's try with this. Alright, so now my hand should be going through. Yep, because it doesn't have a rigid body. But it can interact with this. That's what I don't understand. Because my hands have box collider. Just like this bowling ball, this thing have a box collider and a rigid body. What my hands have? My hands have those two things. Alright. Quit app. It fucked everything with the bowling ball. This. give it a rigid body then. Now my hand should collide with it. Yeah, so the rigid body give it mass and the use of gravity. Alright, let's listen again, because I'm not sure to quite understand what's wrong.
Hence, if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play, our hands now does not follow correctly the position of them outside of the XR rig to create a script that will make these hands follow, which will we can click on add component and we will add a hand present physics script. So in this script we're going to need two variables, a public transform variable, a kinetic rigid body, or hands physically. This is not on play to try our game, not transfer game. But now it's the body fluent as simple as outside add component called RB. Now we are the instant to on the time. So now our game, what we need to do is set the good target on our script. So I'm going to drag the right hand controller for the right hand present physics script and do the same but this time for the left hand controller on the left hand presents physics script. And now let's click on play to see the result. We have a little issue with our hands. It seems to follow, but we have some jittering going on, and this is left and right hand, and change their children to edition match. Do the same for the. And if we click on play, tada! Correct color, get target, but we can get on velocity. That's why the grind it follow correctly the position and the rotation. I can push the cube like before, but if I go through the table, the hand cannot pass through. Good job! And there it is, guys. In a few minutes, we managed to create a simple but awesome of the. If we get too far, this issue when all of this tutorial on my Patreon.
How is he supposed to push it? Hmm. Hmm. Right. So I don't understand how he's supposed to push his desk. If we could see what is on his desk, that could be useful.
Already for this project, we are going to need a Unity version of B, and I'm a pipeline via XR to do this. Create my so again, first a red cube and a little sphere. Object above.
Table. Alright, nice. Exactly what I wanted. So there's no rigid body.
Which have a rigid body, a red cube and a little sphere.
No, it does not. Listen, it says a table which have a rigid body, but it doesn't.
To use as a table which has a collider, and two objects above which have a rigid body. a red cube, and a little sphere.
Alright,
Now we
so
are ready to get started, so first
we'll
thing
be
first,
able to interact with object that doesn't have rigid body. Alright.
let's add and present of last one. But download now project and click on import. Now that's imported, we can go to Oculus Hand Physics, Prefab, and there you will find two plugins and different as one either like and as body to solve some to fit times on encourage you to see not we can be but it with collider that are used body buttons. Because if we set them to non-kinetic and that we click on play, our hands now in may record and assign it to our variable.
Alright.
And there it is, we can now work on making that rigid body follow the position and rotation time dot fixed delta time.
Yippity yippity, your code is now my property. Alright. Nope. I opened this. Let's open our new script and just copy what he's doing, because this is some mathematic that I don't understand. And I'll try to understand. Transform. I'm gonna target. So I guess I'll need system.
Perfect. Okay, so now let's go back to these. So the differences this count of 4 is
Alright. So void start got here be get. Alright, so I'm getting my rigid body. Alright. I don't know why I don't have the auto completion. This is kinda annoying. Right, let's close it. Let it compile. We'll put it in script. Reopen it. Alright. Nope. Ah. Preferences. Here's the reason why. Generate project file. Don't know why it got deleted from there. Nice.
we think the move position of the rigid body won't work because as you can see this function only works with kinematic. We can to Unity and wait for time.
Target that position. Boy. Transform that position. Place it by time fixed delta time.
Time dot fixed delta time. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go back to Unity and wait for our script to compile. And now before testing our game, what we need to do is set the code target on our script. So I'm going to drag.
Just want to make sure I understand what is the velocity. Is the directional speed of an object. Alright. That's what I thought.
The right for the left and let's click on play to start. But the layer, we can as edit, project settings, action between right and so things seems to
Okay.
edit. Now we can disable the inner collision on our end.
So I've got to add 2 layers. Add layers. The 6th one will be left end. The 7th one right end. This one's gonna be left end. Mm. Right end.
Children as well. And now we can disable the inner collision on our end by going to edit, project settings, physics, and here down below in the collision matrix, we can disable the interaction between right end and do the same for the left end. Okay, so let's test our game now. And if we click on play, ta-da, everything seems to work, no more jitter, and we can see that our hand is following correctly the position of its controller, and we can already have a look at how it correctly collides with everything. So we are in the good direction. Now let's work on the same but for the rotation. So in the same way that we did for the position, we can get
Okay. Position for hand when interacting with non-rigid body. Alright, so I got it, but I don't understand the math formula behind this. Quaternion.
the difference in rotation with quaternion. Rotation difference equals target.rotation multiplied by quaternion dot inverse transform rotation. But this is a quaternion, and what we want is the angle. So we can get this with rotation difference dot angle axis, out float angle in degrees, out vector 3 rotation axis.
Angle in degree out vector 3 rotation axis.
And using this, we can get the vector 3 rotation difference angle in degree equals to angle in degree multiplied by rotation axis.
Rotation difference in degree is angle in degree time rotation axis. Rotate the end.
And we are at angular velocity equals rotation difference angle in degrees. And finally, we can divide as before by the time to get the velocity, so time dot fixed delta time. But as you can see, angular velocity of the rigid body is required in radian, and we have given it a rotation in degree. So we can simply convert radian to degree by multiplying the value with matf.degree to radian. And now everything should be ready. We have our desired angular velocity for the rigid body. Now let's save our script and go back to Unity to test our game. And there you go. If I click on play, now you can see the final result. I can move my hand, it follows correctly the position and the rotation, I can push the cube like before, but if I go through the table, the hand cannot pass through. Good job. And there it is, guys. In a few minutes.
All right. Yep, that's what I thought. So target's gonna be this. It's not what I want, and right. This. Original. Original. Presents rigid body, and the one. So I'm gonna keep the other one too. This one's gonna set as default. The right one, RB, no RB, default. Alright. This, we can delete this, and here, model prefab, right hand, model prefab. I hope nothing's been broken. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Alright. Alright, so everything seems fine. Oh, crap. It's true. I gave it a rigid body. So I'm gonna delete it. This. No rigid body. Alright. Alright. Let's try again. So it passes through. Alright, this is no good. Plus the fucking box collider of those, and keep interacting with my things. So why? Oh, the variable has not been assigned.
With the cube, but even if we maximize the
Oh, does
physics
he assign
settings
it?
or body, which means that they can interact with other rigid body, but they are not influenced by them, which will not create to non-kinematic. Because if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play or set a script that will make these ends with physics, so in this part of about the on physical reference of dot for script to compile. And now, before testing our game, what we need to do is set the good target on our script. So I'm going to drag the right hand controller for the right hand present physics script and do the same, but this time for the left hand controller on the left hand presents physics script. And now let's click on play to see the result. We have a little issue with our hands. It seems to follow
So, alright. I don't seem to have the same here. We're gonna test in 3, 2, 1. Bruh. If I go in the console, does not seem to have problem. Might be forgetting something, but I don't think. 13-minute tutorials is taking me 3 fucking hours.
as we are going to. And I know this will take a lot of time to do. We have Collider with the cube. I can push it with both hands, but as you can see, the interaction is not always really precise. And to solver iteration, type RAL goes. Step 2.0. These settings influence the physics computer friendly, proving that again on something obviously that does not translate really well on important part of this tutorial with the cube, but check with Collider that have no rigid body like this table. And the reason is that our hands are using a kinematic rigid body, which means that they can interact with other rigid body, but they are not influenced by them, which will not create a great physical response. But it's not as simple as setting the rigid body back to non-kinematic, because if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play, our hands now does not follow correctly the position of the controller in our scene. So to fix this, I'm going to move them outside of the XR rig to not have them influenced by their parents, and I'm going to show you how we can create a script that will make these hands follow the position and rotation of any target using their rigid body, which will make them behave how we want. Okay, so let's select both our hand present physics. We can click on add component and we will add a hand present physics script target component at the start variable. And rotate side the rigid body, change the velocity of the object to go to the target position. We good target on our script. So now before testing our game, what we need to do is set the good target on our script. So I'm going to drag the right hand controller for the right hand present physics script and do the same but this time for the left hand controller on the left hand presents physics script. And now let's click on play to see the result. We have a little issue with our here, create two new layers, left hand physics and right hand physics. We can assign them to the left hand and the right hand and change their children as well. And now we can disable the inner collision on
What if I remove them? Let's see. You're saying it causes problem, but maybe not. Alright, never mind. No. I have two pairs of hand. Oh, is this shit supposed to have a rigid body? Nope. Left hand, right hand. Alright. Quoi? What the fuck? Make sure that rigid body isn't kinematic. No, we gotta make it kinematic.
On our end, we can assign them to before testing. So now let's the velocity. So time dot fixed delta time. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go back to Unity and wait for our script to compile. And now before testing our game, what we need to do is set the code target on our script. So I'm going to drag this time for the left hand control complete to follow, but we have some jittering going on, and this is actually an issue caused by the collider of the hands. Create two new layers and end the right inner collision on our end by going to edit, project settings, action display, a look at how
his hands aren't kinematic. What the fuck? He said to make sure that they were kinematic. They're gonna turn, yeah. Just delete those. No more hands. That's what I thought. No, it's gonna say that there's no, yep, not assigned.
it doesn't really because I have a channel. So if you don't want to get lost watching, but the right and click on right hand in the right and are not using the universal rendering pipeline, this end will appear pink. So to fix this, you can simply go to the mesh.
Yep, he never changed, never actually changed this. So could it be that this is still gonna be this, and this is still gonna be
Renderer
this?
of the hands and change the shader of the material of the hand to the standard shader, for example. But in my case, we are a children of the left hand controller. But with here this end present script, we will be also able to animate these hands according to code and with this sliding. I will duplicate these two ends, rename them left hand present physics for the left hand and right hand present physics for the right hand. We can unpack the prefab as we are going to modify them, and I will now just disable the two hold hand. Now for the solution of this problem, we need to add a collider to the hand model. To do so, we can go in the bones of the hand and try to add a capsule collider like this and scale it a lot of and left and model and present script. So we can simply drag here the animator of the right hand on the right hand presents and do the same for the left hand. Perfect. Now that we have colliders, if we want to be able to move the cube in front of us, we finally need to add a rigid body. I will set the rigid As you can see, we can now interact, understand why in a minute body. For now, I will set the rigid body to kinematic, and you will understand why with solver and art. Also in mind, if we click size, that we go be but with or and other physical. Because if we set them to non-kinematic and that we click on play, our hands now does not follow correctly the position of the controller in our scene. So to fix this, I'm going to move them outside of the XR rig to not have them influenced by their parents, and I'm going to show you how we can create a script that will make these hands follow the position and rotation of any target using their rigid body, which will make them behave how we want. Okay, so let's select both our hand present physics. We can click on add component and
So this is because these controllers does not have a rigid body. Could it be? Alright, let's try that out. No, oh, it is not. Alright. Alright. Alright, so at least I'm not going through anymore. Alright, so controller need a rigid body. Alright, so
we will add a hand present on play drag this with our hands.
someone I fixed the wrong. last resort. Alright, that was our last resort. Oh my god. I'm so tired when nothing works, but I made
physical hand,
the
and a
exactly
public
same
float
thing.
call show non-physical hand distance that we can set at 5 centimeters, so 0.05. And in the
Alright, let me just make sure I'm having the same thing as him. RB, target that position, minus transform that position, time fix the delta time. Alright, quaternion rotation difference equal target that rotation times quaternion that inverse transform rotation difference, the two angle axis, angle in degree, rotation axis, vector tree rotation difference in degree equal angle in degree times rotation axis, and RB that angular velocity equal that net half take to rad. Maybe I can try without this. I don't know. Just trying. I'm lost. I'm totally lost. Alright, and I still have 2 pairs of hands. Nice, so fucking nice. Are these supposed to be set to none? I think I already tried this, no? Didn't I? So I will not have a pair. 2 pair, sorry. Yep, so I don't have 2 pair and I can still execute the animation. Alright. Alright. Alright, so let's take a look at this second
the
tutorial just
function,
to know
we can
what
compare
we're
the
going.
distance is right also grid under the table that as well. Next, we can surf to set or if you like to ability and that you have some ending line minus will create and the color bounce that little Rubik we set to a friction gain minimum. This weird when we collide with the table and go left and right, our hands does this.
What I
Forget
want
that
is
you
to
can
be
glide on the
able
table on there. Now allow if I go
take
to color
everything.
spherical, we will be able to grab object with a XR directing both our sphere and cube, and as you can see, we can grab these objects, but they collide with the physical hands, and it's even worse when we release the object. To fix this, I'm going to disable the collider of our hand when holding an object and re-enable it afterwards. So let's go to our hand present physics script. We can add at the top a private array of collider called hand.
That's what I want. Alright, so 8:59. So that's what we're gonna do on the next video. So I'll be waiting for an answer from him because I'm lost. I don't know what to do now. I follow this tutorial, and the next one is gonna be wait. Let's see. It's Unity automatic hand positioning. Auto hand. This is what we want.
This 2 project is very new current with it's just that over and report view they need and collection from
Oh, don't tell me
something,
it's doing what I
and
want.
then everything in project. System gives you a little more granular control of what you're actually upgrading. So we're just gonna go needs to be upgraded. It won't have suppose that won't execute correctly with the controllers, and that's because OpenXR has a little bit weird to controller currently using the robot hands. You see these are the robot hands, so we need to adjust the offsets for each one. So you're in bottom of the mode the player container. I can actually show you the things interesting is the wiggliness of the hands. So you can see when I move, wiggle, so I can't even pull out. So you have your basic kind of hands, so you can press the grip button, and the grip button also activates the UI laser. So we can interact with UI elements over there a little bit later. And then your trigger finger, pressing the trigger will bring it, kind of move around. All of this is physics-based
Oh my
as
god,
well.
this select
So
here.
if I can
It is,
bump
yeah.
into things as well. So my hand can't go through the table, and then if I slide off, it comes back to where my hand actually is now. There's also two-handed grabs, and you
So I
can
should have
specify
done
whether
this
an object is a two-handed grabbable
right
object
from
or
the
not.
beginning.
And you'll see that as I'm kind of moving around this object, my hands procedurally grab, however I grab the object. And so maybe this cone would be cooler.
Alright, so I think this is what we're gonna try to do next time. Because I'll back up what I did, what I did now, because I don't want to lose it. And we're gonna try something else. Yep. So that's gonna be it for today. So see ya.